Hello everyone. Hi Pennsauken.
Hello.
Welcome to Fairytale Storytime, our
Yes.
first one of the summer. We hope you've been enjoying the first few summer reading programs. We have a lot more coming up too, so keep
a lot of good stuff coming up. So our theme this summer is fairy tale. So our hello song, we're going to change it for this summer, and it's going to be a fairy tale song. And Miss Sabrina and I are going to use our shakers, and you can get up and shake yourself if you want.
Yeah,
or
maybe
find
you have something
to
around
shake.
your house that you could shake along with us. But yeah, we can maybe get up, dance around while we sing our opening song. And I'll post the lyrics to our opening song in the comments of this video too, so that way we can know what the words are and sing along.
All right, perfect.
Ready?
Okay, ready?
Once upon a time, in a land so far away, a princess kissed a frog. Well, that just made his day. Far across the town, Red Riding Hood took fright. She found a wolf in Granny's bed when she told her good night. Oh, fairy tales, read them every day. Oh, what fun it is to hear how Goldilocks got away. Fairy tales, full of joy and laughter. Do you know how this one ends? It's happily ever after. Good job.
That was really cute.
All right. Good shaking.
Okay.
So we have a friend to introduce, right, Miss
Yes,
Susan?
we do.
So thank you so much to everybody that sent in name ideas. We had so many good ones, right?
We did. Oh, it was hard to choose.
It was, and we had so many people vote in the poll too. But we are proud to say that the winning name was Royal.
Royal. So this is Royal, our 2020 summer reading mascot.
We're super excited.
Yes, and he says, "How do you do? It's nice to meet everyone."
And Royal, I think our sign language today is going to be all about you.
Oh my goodness.
Right, Miss Susan? So we have some nice sign language to learn today.
Yes, okay. So since Royal is a cat, you see his tail, and he's got some cat stripes.
Yeah, he's got some whiskers
Yes, some
too.
whiskers. So we're going to learn the sign for cat. And this one, it's not too hard. We take our hand, just one hand is all you need, put it up to your face and pull it like you're rubbing your whiskers or you're pulling your whiskers. And that's cat.
Do you like that, Royal?
I think he likes that, yeah. He's going to do that. He's doing it with us.
So that's how we say cat?
That's right. And now we're going to teach you how to spell Royal, his name. Yes, so we're going to teach you 5 letters in sign language, and this is how you spell Royal. Okay, so our first one, we tuck our fingers under our thumb, and we take our middle and our pointer, and we put our middle behind our pointer, and that is the letter R in sign language, and that's the first letter of Royal's name. So that's an R. Then we make a circle with our fingers. Our thumb is on top, it's a circle, and that's the O.
Okay, so we have R, O.
Then we're going to make a Y. We tuck our 3 middle fingers down, and our thumb and pinky are out. That's a Y. So we have R, O, Y, and now an A. Our thumb is out, and all the rest of our fingers are tucked in. That's an A.
Got it.
So we have R, O, Y, A, and then the L. We make an L with our pointer finger up and our thumb out. And that's how you spell Royal. So let's try it all together. You ready? R, O, Y, A, L. Yay! That's going to take some practice, but we'll practice it every week, okay? And you can practice it at home.
Royal seems super excited that we're learning to say his
loves
name
that
in sign language.
Yes, that you are learning his name in sign language. He's blowing everyone kisses. He's so happy to see you. Okay, so should we get to our first book?
I think so. I have a really great story today, Miss Susan.
Royal and I are going to listen.
Yep, so this story is called The Great Fairy Tale Disaster by David Conway.
So I think a lot of our fairy tale friends are in this story.
I
Miss
think
Susan.
so.
Once upon a time, there lived an old, big, bad wolf. He no longer had any huff and puff to blow down the three little pigs' houses, and he'd had enough of falling into hot water. What I need, the wolf thought to himself, is a nice, relaxing fairy tale for a change. So he scampered off into the pages of the fairy tale book to find one. Cinderella was busy sweeping and hadn't noticed the wolf's dark shadow appear in the doorway. "I want to be in your tail," he growled. "Of course," stammered a frightened Cinderella. "Take my place." Just then, the fairy godmother arrived. "I know you'd love to go to the ball," she said to the wolf, "and so you shall." There was a flick of a wand and a burst of light. Look at the wolf in the dress royal. "Wolves don't wear dresses," cried the wolf, hobbling off in a glass slipper to find a different tail. I don't think Cinderella worked out for him, huh?
No.
Soon after, the big bad wolf crept up behind Jack on the magic beanstalk. Jack trembled as he let the wolf into his fairy tale. The big bad wolf was climbing up the beanstalk when he saw two huge feet and heard a horrible giant voice bawling, "Fee, fi, fo, fum." "This tale's too scary," cried the wolf as he slid back down the beanstalk to find another one. Then the big bad wolf found Sleeping Beauty snoring softly in her bed. "Wakey, wakey," he snarled. "Out you go." There the big bad wolf lay, so beautiful that the prince could not turn his eyes away. He knelt down and gave the wolf a kiss. "Yuck!" sputtered the big bad wolf. "I'm not being kissed." So he dashed away to try his luck elsewhere. The big bad wolf came to the three bears' empty cottage in the forest. He opened the door and stepped into the tail. "Yum," he said. "Porridge, my favorite." The big bowl of porridge was too hot. The second bowl was too cold. But the littlest bowl was just right, so the wolf ate it all up. "This is the life," said the wolf as he sat down in the big comfy chair. But suddenly the door opened and in stormed the three bears. "Where's Goldilocks?" demanded Daddy Bear. "What are you doing in our fairy tale?" scolded Mommy Bear. "And where's my porridge?" cried Baby Bear. The wolf made a run for it, but the three bears chased after him into the next fairy tale. "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair," called the prince. So now we have all the fairy tale characters getting
This is
all
a funny
mixed
book.
up. And then the next, "Who's that tripping over my bridge?" roared the troll. "I'll eat you for breakfast." Look at all of these characters. And before you could say, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" there was chaos and confusion everywhere. The princess didn't kiss a frog, but she did kiss Billy Goat Gruff. Hansel and Gretel accidentally pushed Prince Charming into an oven. And Puss in Boots pricked his paw on a spindle and fell asleep for 100 years. Oh no!
Crazy.
"What a mess!" cried the big bad wolf, and he escaped back through the pages of the book to the three little pigs. Little pigs, let me come in," huffed the big bad wolf. "Not by the hair of our chinny chin chins," said the little pigs. "We will not let you in." But the wolf had already clambered up onto the roof and he was coming down the chimney, only to land splash in a pot of hot water. "Oh, not again," cried the wolf. And that was the end of the fairy tale troubles. And that's the end of the story.
That was so good.
That was a
We
good
really
one.
enjoyed that.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm going to put Royal on his stand. Of course, if you are a library cat, you have to stand on a book stand. Okay, so
Should
why
we do a
don't we...
stretch song, Miss
Let's
Susan?
do a stretch song.
All right,
Yes,
so if you're
for
sitting
sure.
down at home, maybe we can stand on up.
Stand up, okay.
And for any of our friends that have been to parachute and play before, you might recognize this song, but we're going to sing the Grand Old Duke of York, right?
And there's some marching in the song, so you're going
Yeah.
to march.
We're going to
And we're
stretch our arms
Yep,
up and
stretch them
down.
Up and down. Okay, so you just follow along with us,
Mhm.
okay? Ready?
Yep. The Grand Old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill and he marched them down again. And when you're up, you're up. And when you're down, you're down. And when you're only halfway up, you're neither up nor down.
Good job.
Very good. Should we do that one more
Let's
time?
do it
Miss
one more
Susan?
time.
All right, ready? Get those marching feet ready.
The
Grand Old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill and he marched them down again. And when you're up, you're up. And when you're down, you're down. And when you're only halfway up, you're neither up nor down. Very good.
Good job.
Nice stretching.
Yes, that was nice to have a little stretch.
Yes, for sure.
And now let's sit down for another story.
Yes. Oh, should I hold Royal for this time,
Sure.
Miss Susan?
He enjoyed that last
I think
one.
he did.
Okay, so we're going to read the a little version of the fairy tale Red Riding Hood. This is called Very Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah, there's so many different ways to tell
There
fairy tales,
are.
right, Miss Susan?
There really are. Okay, so there's Very Little Red Riding Hood. Very Little Red Riding Hood was going to her grandmama's for a sleepover. I go see Grandma with cake, said Very Little Red Riding Hood. Yes, my love, I know, said her mummy. Off you go. Be gentle with Grandmama and don't break anything. Bye-bye, my mummy, said Very Little Red Riding Hood. So Very Little Red Riding Hood set off for Grandmama's house. She hadn't gotten very far when she met a wolf. "A foxy," said Very Little Red Riding Hood. She gave him a big hug. See her hugging the wolf, and he's surprised. "Aren't you scared?" asked the wolf. "I'm not scared. I, Very Little Red Riding Hood, that's what I am," said Very Little Red Riding Hood. "I go see Grandma with cakes," said Very Little Red Riding Hood. "Oh, good," said the wolf. "Can I have one?" "No," said Very Little Red Riding Hood. "No touch my cakes." The wolf tried again. "Can I come too?" "No," shouted Very Little Red Riding Hood. "Go away." The wolf tried once more. "Look at these lovely flowers," he said. "We could pick some for your grandmama." "No!" screamed Very Little Red Riding Hood. "No, no flowers. Red." He was picking yellow and she wanted red flowers. So they picked some red flowers. "Come on, Foxy," said Very Little Red Riding Hood. "We go this way. Chase me." So the wolf had to chase Very Little Red Riding Hood to Grandmama's house. So he's chasing her all over. Very Little Red Riding Hood knocked on Grandmama's door. "I come see you, Grandma. Look, cakes," she said. "Well, it's lovely to see you, dear," said Grandmama. And then, help! There's a wolf on the doorstep. "I come for sleepover," said Very Little Red Riding Hood. "I got my bag and red teddy and my cups and my blanket. Foxy, do you want a cup of tea?" "He can't come in," said Grandmama. "Oh, Grandma, it's only Foxy," said Very Little Red Riding Hood. So the wolf came in and took a cup of tea from Very Little Red Riding Hood. They all had a cup of tea. They played hide and seek, and then they did dancing, and they did drawing, and then they had another cup of tea, and another. They're having a lot of tea. The wolf and Grandmama were getting quite tired. But then Very Little Red Riding Hood remembered something. Or somebody. "I don't know, where is my mommy?" said Very Little Red Riding Hood. "I want my mommy!" Very Little Red Riding Hood was very upset. Grandmama tried a story. She tried a hug. She tried Red Teddy. "Mr. Wolf, we're in trouble," she said. "Can you help?" So the wolf tried. "Oh, what big, wet eyes you have," he said. "Oh, what a big, snotty nose you have," he said. And then, "Oh, what a big, red mouth you have," said the wolf. "And I'm going to," what's he gonna do? "Give you a great big tickle." So the wolf tickled Very Little Red Riding Hood. He tickled her arms, her ribs, and her toes. He tickled her chin, her ears, and her nose. Very Little Red Riding Hood stopped crying. She laughed. She laughed and laughed and laughed. And then she fell asleep. And they all slept happily ever after. And that's the end. That was a silly take on that story.
Was a very silly version of Red Riding Hood. Well, thank you so much for joining us today at Fairytale Storytime.
Yes.
All right, should we sing our goodbye song?
I think
Miss
we
Susan?
should sing our goodbye song. So when we do our goodbye song, we clap our hands and we tap our knees and we sing
Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say goodbye as loud as we can. Goodbye!
Goodbye!
Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say goodbye as quiet as we can. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say goodbye as fast as we can. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say goodbye as slow as we can. Goodbye. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say goodbye as high and squeaky as we can. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, bye-bye. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say goodbye as low as we can. Goodbye.
Great job!
Awesome job. Thanks for singing
Yeah,
and
we
moving
had a good
and
time.
reading with us today.
That's
We'll
right.
see you at the next Fairytale
That's
Storytime.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye.